There's power in a drum beat on a hill above the sea. Power in the voice of a supporter. But it all amounts to nothing. Together we don't sing. There's power when we're not OICs. And it's big or forever. Old town stingery. Valley and mountain shine brown to the sea. And the colors of our rainbow, sunset, orange, Tory, green. There's power when we're not OIC. ST Lloyd or forever. Sunday, North County. Desert to islands. Get loud now, you and me. All our voices strong together as we cheer on our team. There is power when we're not
Oi, oi,
Welcome.
oi, 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 team.
And oi, oi, oi to the Loyal Locals podcast. What is up? We are your hosts this week. I am Drew Steck, your art director and creative director for the Locals. This is Nick Duffy, my
G'day.
co-hostess with the Moses. What's up, man? My
What's
southern
going on?
some of the southern hemisphere to my northern hemisphere.
Yep.
My co-part here, and we're gonna run duo tonight.
Versus zero,
There you
baby.
go. That was Pangea coming together there. We're gonna roll through tonight's broadcast here and talk about what happened this last week. You know, maybe talk through some feelings, and then look forward to the next week. And we're gonna talk about some fun upcoming stuff, as well as just the world of ST Loyal and the Locals supporters group, as well as everything in 109. So stick with us here for the next half hour, and then after that, we'll roll on to what we call the lounge after that, which is a fun post show where you can hang out with us live and ask any question that you'd like to throw out there. So we will be here for you. Nick.
Yes. Drew,
yeah, man.
long time no see,
been-
bro.
I know we didn't do anything recently
Yes.
together. We had a wonderful
No.
day. Pizza Bros. If you have never attended a Pizza Bros event, Pizza Bros is a just an event for anyone. You don't have to be a bro. You can just be a person who likes pizza. And
Bro is a non-gendered word. All genders
Exactly.
are welcome.
And so you're welcome anytime. Today we did it in North Park. Typically happens in the Miramar area, but it's just our meeting spot once a week. It's been Mondays or Tuesdays. We put it in our Discord if you'd ever like to show up. A number of us were there today. It was pretty fun, and we hung
Yeah,
out
a couple
and,
of new bros.
yeah,
Couple of
talked
new
about
bros and the
everything.
pizza bros.
Right. Well, one of the things we talked about was the Emo Brown podcast with Ricardo that I can't get out of my head, man.
I'll
There is
listen
just
to it twice. Listen to it twice. It's that good.
that I feel like it's required listening. I know when you're on a podcast and they reference other podcasts, you're like, they're giving me homework. What are they doing? Especially at the gate here, we're just like, hey, boom. Here's the assignment list. But we might talk a little bit about that in the lounge. Definitely dissect some of the things that he said in terms of building a stadium in Chula Vista. No, that's not something he said. But we'll speculate and have a fun time in the lounge as we always do. So join us after the show for that. But at the same time, pretty fun stuff to see our club just kind of ingratiating itself in different cultural aspects of the community. We've had Jerry, one of our co-founders of the Locals, go on Emo Brown before. Darren
Yep,
Smith,
Dan
obviously
Smith.
a great ambassador for the club. He's made 2 appearances now on Emo Brown, so it's a great
Yep.
podcast if you ever want to get flavor of what's going on in the South Bay. Steve
I-
Garcia, owner of Three Punk Ales and proprietor and just kind of chief over there. Great soccer friend to the community and somebody who's really praised what we do as a supporters group. So shout out Steve, shout out Emo Brown, and especially to our chairman, or not our chairman, but our president of our club here, Ricardo. Maybe we'll get AV on there at some point. I don't know. Maybe we'll get the chairman. So
We'll see.
cool stuff to see. And Steve just does a good job at cutting at people and just cutting them down to like, what's your basic, sporting inputs and where are you coming from? And really got Ricardo to open up in a way that I've never heard him in certain interviews. So it's a really great podcast to listen
I
to.
had no idea that Ricardo played rugby, and now I have so many more questions.
Right. Yes. I didn't know he lived in Ecuador for a couple years. I learned something new there. I was like, hey, let's find out something new about that. Yeah, let's dive into that a little bit. So yeah, there's all sorts of things you can get into with the people and interest in this club that we love. So that's just one way that I've been kind of reeling at least the last day or so here, even in the back of an event, which was the game we'll get to. The other question was, did you pick up a blue goalkeeper kit? Because those look pretty tight.
I picked
Yeah.
up 2 blue goalkeeper kits, but they weren't for myself. They were for
you're
2
just
other
a mensch.
people.
You're
I
doing,
was
you're doing
just-
the good work.
I was just doing the Lord's work and picking up kits for other people. I drove all the way down to Kibaros to watch the watch party the other day, and Brandon was going to be there, and I forgot the jersey to give to him.
I saw that he was wearing the purple jersey. I was like, maybe he just put the new one in his car. That's what I figured happened.
I forgot the
Okay.
jersey, but he was on the way back up to LA. He stopped by my house on the way up, so I managed to get it to him on the same day. So
Well, there you go.
problem
It
solved.
works out. Yeah.
Now he knows where my house is.
It is available via order, I believe, from the store at this point, so you can get one if you were not there in person, I think, but it's a very limited sale, so jump on that if you're somebody's interested. To me, I think it is the best looking of them. I have maxed out my jersey budget for the minute, so I will not be participating unless somebody bestows one as a gift. But yeah, it's for me, I do think it is the best looking one, and Lydia Brockoff, shout out Floatle. Looked wonderful on her birthday for the match when she was sporting one.
Yes.
So there are certain people who just, I think, like pull off the look perfectly. I would like to be one of those people, but we'll see at some point. So definitely check that out. Those are kind of fun things.
My
that
jersey
I'm
budget is on hold for the black keeper jersey.
Agreed. I think there's certain that's the tuxedo of the keeper jerseys. I think that's definitely the space. And I'm doing all of this to give you your sugar with your medicine a bit, to give you the sweetness up front.
Yes.
Really what happened over the weekend is we had an away game here, and we didn't pass a test, which is playing away on a short week against an opponent who's not bad, but is, okay, and just sinking into a loss here. So
Before
we had a match over the weekend. Yeah,
before we move into the loss, do you want to talk about the win on Wednesday? We've had two matches this week.
We can do that. I wanted to maybe like bury the sandwich here, talk about some fun stuff, and then come back to the win on Wednesday. But it's up to you. We can go win on Wednesday. Right. Let's go there.
You're the boss, mate. You're the boss.
No, we're driving on your side of the road, which coincidentally is the same side of the road. So let's go to Wednesday. Let's go. I like that. Let's go to Wednesday.
Yeah, let's go with the happy.
We're gonna take let's take the
happy.
Mr. Toad's Wild Ride here to Wednesday. So before we get to the sadness, Wednesday, Monterey Bay, first time hosting this club in its current existence. It's funny, some of the sporting apps I had actually listed them still as Fresno, so silly in some ways, but a transcendence of Fresno that had passed on and then reincorporated in the city of in Monterey, and interesting to see, but it was just kind of a squeaky. It felt like one of those where you have to take care of business and move on. In that sense, it didn't feel like it was a all achieved win, but it just felt like one where, hey, we did our job, kept moving, and I do think that the section for a Wednesday, particularly, we did our job, and that's really what
especially second half. Everybody stepped it up in the second half. I appreciate that.
It felt like there was kind of going into the game a little bit of tentativeness for whatever reason.
I heard a lot of people say this could be a trap game, and I know a few people were a little bit nervous coming off a Saturday game going into a Wednesday match. It was really cool to see ex-loyal players come to town, and some of their fans traveled down, and they were really cool as well. Shout out Superfan Dan. Came and had beers with us at the end of the match at O'Brien's. And I know a few people from the locals talked to some of the away fans, and they were all very gracious. And I know people were excited to go to Monterey and return the favor.
Yeah, it seems like in California, we generally have had a lot of luck. Maybe not luck. Maybe there's something to that. Most of the away fans in this state are pretty cool. Most of them have generally been pretty nice, and we all share a similar tapestry as Californians to, host graciously and be gracious visitors to some degree. And then they definitely held up their bargain. So it is nice to see that camaraderie. I don't think there's any ill feelings towards coming down and not getting points. I think that was just a nice evening for us to share, and hopefully we take a few more points from them going up and visiting and being nice guests ourselves. So
yeah,
it was a nice feeling night. It was cool again to see Superfan Dan and just the general group there from Monterey know that, hey, we're small, we're still trying to grow this thing. We're not a metro you would normally associate with the championship. It really is a smaller area. Obviously with California, our population is always a little bit surprising to people in terms of the size of maybe amount of people that populate that area. So there is a decent base, and obviously the money in that area to support a USL championship club, but generally wouldn't be an area that you would say is at the championship level, maybe more of a USL 1 market. So it is cool to see them supporting that and see them really doing a great job in their first year of at least kind of building towards. It's always been a great soccer area. That mid coast area has always been a big part of California's soccer hotbed in terms of producing talent, producing people, and interest in college, and throughout. So a lot of props to those guys for coming down. And again, they steal. I could say they stole from the best, maybe in their color scheme / crest / a lot of the things that Monterey is doing. So, in some ways, friends, but frenemies, obviously on the pitch. But it was nice to take those.
It was a good match. It was a really good match, actually. It was a tough match.
That's where coming in strong in the second half, I think, sends a statement to the players too. It shows them, hey, when we dial in, we're not just doing this on autopilot, right? There's almost an intensity and a purpose to what we do when we're coming in like that. So I think
exactly
that's what I was proud of this group and of our section in terms of holding up our end of the bargain there, especially on a Wednesday match, short week. Kind of coming back here in terms of getting in there.
There wasn't that much rotation in the squad. They still put up a solid lineup and they played a tough match. Siaha made a lot of great saves. Shout out to Siaha, ex-loyal player. And they had to come down to a penalty to separate the two teams. So it was actually a really exciting match to watch. A 1-0 win. Tough fought, and coming off only a couple of days from the last game, I thought it was good. It was good from the boys to grind out a win there.
Right. It was interesting to see them have to still not start Vassell and then bring him in, and having that as almost a strategy now to build that momentum a little bit and kind of interchanging players in terms of having almost striker shifts where they're striking people in and out to change the pace a bit. It's been interesting to see where they're utilizing players, obviously with injuries, with suspensions, things like that they're coming in and off. But that was generally a bright spot and felt like, again, we controlled, we did what we were supposed to, and we had a clear idea of what our team wanted to execute in that game. And I think all of us saw it on the pitch, and there wasn't too many questions coming out of that match. Unfortunately, on the weekend, you end up with the same old questions that we've had all year. That bubble up when this team loses, which is generally on the road, generally on a short week, generally with some exhaustion factor to the case. So that's what we ran into the buzzsaw of. Again, the humidity of if you're going to choose a time to go to Alabama, it's probably not August to somebody who's been to Arkansas in August.
I don't think anybody would choose to go to Alabama.
That is the hottest I've ever been in my life. I have been a lot of places, including Death Valley, and dry heat is searing in some ways. But when you are in humidity in 120 degrees, and that's not what it was, but it is. And the cicadas are breeding, which they might be, I think, right now. It's just the deafening tones of bugs and humidity, and it's just a different world. It's a different Star Wars planet, if you will, if we're from the desert planet. This is the Dagobah or the swamp planet. It's just a different type of heat that is so much more intense.
I like that.
And so I think that's just on a short week, it's hard.
Even Koke's hair gel didn't stand up to the test of the heat. His hair is always on point and it never moves. It's the perfect in position, even when he's jumping around the pitch. But his hairdo, I guess the humidity was getting to the gel because it was all flopping over.
Yeah.
So
sometimes you can't control all of the variables. I think in this case, if you had it to do again, you would ask the schedule makers for a different spot, but you take the hand you're dealt. In this case, it was a tough fixture, regardless of positioning. I think Birmingham could have been dead last in the conference, and this still would be a tough game. Just going to there on a short rest in August, I think you're just always getting up there. They did fly in on a Thursday. They did have some time to rest, but it seems to me that they just generally didn't prepare mentally to play this game in a way that they knew they would be tired and they knew they would be pressed. That was the general takeaway I had. And it felt a lot like watching certain Premier League teams over the weekend who didn't have a plan for certain tactics. And, not inexcusable, but it's something where you do have a critical eye to look at the coaching staff and say, well, on the road in the playoffs,
I was very
faced with similar situations.
I was very emotional during the game. Everyone who was at Cabarro's watch party can attest to me yelling at the TV. I was getting very frustrated. I believe I tweeted about us being trash. Now that I've had a little bit of time to think about it, I probably wouldn't use such a harsh word, but we were pretty embarrassing, to be honest. Couldn't string together passes, skying balls in perfect positions and on goal. The Birmingham just played better than us on the day, and we got outplayed on the pitch and tactically outplayed as well. So you can't
Right.
really be too sad about that result because we didn't deserve a win.
Yeah. At the end of the day, we were not in a position where anybody who took the field either initially or came on as a sub gave us enough to say this is our game and we deserve to get either a point or 3 points. It just felt like we were playing out the minutes. Once we got to about even the 50, 60th minute, there wasn't a lot of fight to generally push and generate more of a any sort of result. So one of those games where after 4 or 5 wins,
Yeah.
doesn't hurt as much. I think that it's more of a blip on the radar. There was an article put out this week by a decent publication who I think does decent analysis, but in this case, it seems like they maybe were looking to crush us in the moment, I guess. Or say, hey, this is, they seem like they're flying high, but maybe there's going to be issues. And that's backheeled.com. You can go there and it'll be one of the articles that probably pops up near the top.
It does raise a little bit of nerves based on the form going into the playoffs last year. However, it's only one loss. We have El Paso this weekend. I expect them to really make amends for the last game. They've had a week's break now before traveling back out to the East. It was an Eastern Conference game, so losing to an Eastern Conference team isn't as bad as losing to a Western Conference team. So I'm expecting a turnaround win here so that we don't get the same kind of form going into the tail end of the season that we saw last year, because that makes me very nervous.
That's the fear, right? That's the general fear as loyal fans that we have is this. We've seen certain highs before, we've seen certain lows before, and we've dug our ways out of them. And I think that that's where we feel confident that this coaching staff knows how to ride waves of momentum, and I think they're positioning themselves pretty well. But that playoff bugaboo, and especially as San Diego sports fans, right? That's the other greater context to this beyond the soccer world, is that we're just so used to playoff trauma in so many ways that like we can't not pre-process the trauma before it happens to us and almost project forward in that case. So
it's
it
a
is one
tough
of those
schedule
things
going in too. We only have 3 home games left. 3 home games left before the playoffs. The rest
right,
on the
key ones is
road.
Phoenix, right? Our big bugaboo, our big bad. They haven't been bad this season. We hope we can crush their playoff dreams on September 17th. I think I'm stating for the whole loyal world there that we hope that we can walk into that game, have them walk in. They're going to bring a big contingent. This is one of the big away days of the year. So as locals, as Javos, as anybody in 109 be aware, this will be the preeminent game for Phoenix fans to travel to this year. And they did it to New Mexico the year before. This will be the one where they try and invade, try and make a difference, and try and shake up a result. Obviously, their club is on the ropes here. Doesn't seem like they have a chance to make the playoffs right now, but they're wily. They will probably climb up the table and get close, and that will be the pivotal game. So if you're picking a match to go to, and obviously there's other things happening in town in soccer on the 17th, as well as in all of sports, that will be a very important night for this club. I think emotionally get over a hurdle of a club that has plagued us. But again, in the playoffs, let's say that it's not Phoenix. Let's say it's, again, San Antonio on the road, who we know we can beat, which I feel more confident about. But there is just certain places where we're going to have to face down some of these teams again. And will we be able to change the script? I think at home, we've shown we can do that against Colorado Springs. We've shown we can do that against San Antonio. But we're going to have to go on the road probably to San Antonio, and we're probably going to have to go on the road another time to win the cup, most likely. So that's the hard one, is at the end, the one to win it all. will most likely be in the Eastern Conference. So whether that's Kentucky or whether that is Florida, the goal, we know we can do it in Florida. We haven't done it in Kentucky yet. So I think that's the one where this was a trial for that a bit, was just going on the road, accomplishing a goal, getting there, even not against a team that's as good as Louisville at this point. And we didn't quite get there. So that's where Andrew Dyer here is saying, push easy. I think he's talking about Florida.
I like his optimism.
Push. It's a sound effect. It's also a verb. Pushing.
Yeah.
So what is your general takeaway going into the final stretch here, Nick, of the season in terms of where you think we come out? And we'll boil our analysis down to that and get into some SG news.
I trust that the squad's going to turn around on Saturday, and it's just going to be a little blip in the radar, and they're going to keep pushing towards playoffs. I'm not too worried. Now, if we see a trend start to form and going into these next few games, then I will start to worry. But at the moment, I'm not too worried. I think it was just a tough game in the heat after 2 matches. So I'm not too worried right now. I think we can lock down that second spot and get home playoff, which I'm really excited for because I want us to go crazy at a playoff match.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I think we are that second seed throughout. I think we unfortunately missed a window here. If we got the 3 points, we could close in on San Antonio, maybe take the West. I think at this point, just mathematically, just the way the schedule is, it's pretty difficult. Most likely we end up best case scenario second, and I do think that's where I see us. I think that's just where we've been, strength wise of schedule. We played our way to there, and we deserve that. So I see us carrying that through the end of the season, and we'll see where we end up. I mean, in terms of home playoffs throughout the playoffs, you never know what happens. You can end up with San Antonio losing the first round, right?
Yeah.
Like what happened with Phoenix, within the playoffs there last year. So
as long as we're progressing and we do better than last year, I'm happy whatever happens. I just want something better than last year.
I think we can have a home playoff match and maybe play one more, possibly at home even again. Even if we lose that second one at home, I'd be very proud of the fact that we were able to go. And I do think if we have 2 straight home matches, we're probably going to win both in the playoffs. I am very bullish on that. So I do think every home match in the playoffs we get, we probably will win. And that's where, again, that first seed would have been great. But who knows? If you're second, you're still giving yourself a lot of really good odds to run that table and make your way to, that lofty championship, if we dare say it. So exciting stuff. Good time to be a supporter here. So much going on. Again, thank you to last week's hosts, our mans,
yes.
Andrew Dyer, Ken Garten, Jerry Ibarra, who was actually
going to
double dip tonight. He opted a double dip tonight. And we said, no, go to trivia. And actually, that's where he is right now. So he's at trivia, holding it down with the locals. But yeah, great dudes, great trio. Got a lot of messages saying this is one of the better trios we've had. So Nick and I rolled duo tonight because we didn't want to be shown up by being, one of the better trios. So that's why we're going with the 2 of us tonight.
Yeah.
And thanks to them. But let's talk about real quick, just a couple of pit stops with SG News, and then we'll get to this weekend's match. The 2022 Locals Kit, if you did order one, orders are now closed. Apologies to anybody. Didn't just a brief status update. We'll keep it real quick. If you're waiting for your Locals Kit, again, our timeline was about a month from the last week or so. Seems that their design, or our design, has, when we're trying to print it, we've seen some replication in terms of the test prints they've done. Unfortunately, that pointingness is so specific on the collar that they're just having a little hard time to try and replicate it all the way through to the sleeves without it looking weird or having points go off in different directions. So just another few days, it looks like, added on from what we previously thought. In the next few days, we'll be finally putting it into full production. Once they do produce, I will say they usually beat our timeline and do a pretty good job. So it's very possible we get time on the back end, but we always like to under promise and over deliver when it comes to this kind of stuff. So in terms of that, just a few days from a delay in terms of the production design type aspects. So just know that if you are a Locals Kit buyer, and in terms of, again, moving into this next weekend, We have Chavos helping Chavos. We have our friends here in 109 and really just our familia when it comes to specifically somebody who was at Pizza Bros, Adrian Delgado, somebody who's just done a fantastic job of leading the charge there and may join us here for the lounge later. Another reason to stick around. We'll see. But has really called to action the ability to get backpacks, to get school supplies for kids who may not have access to this type of stuff. You could donate money, and then they will purchase things that are needed. Any way that you can contribute is fantastic. Again, we're looking for backpacks, pencils, pens, colored pencils, markers, glue sticks, notebooks, crayons, and binders. How do you say crayons, Nick, in New Zealand?
Crayons.
Yeah, it's pretty normal. So yeah, any way that you can contribute, you've got the Venmo here on our YouTube, as well as you can look up Chavos as well as the Locals SG on any social media and be able to find the information in terms of the second annual supply drives. Is something they're going to keep doing year after year. So as you continue to maybe get an excess backpack or some excess supplies for your office or your school, save up. And, it's always a fun thing. Alicia's pointing out in the comments here, her son helped pick it out. Kids love helping other kids as well. So if you maybe have a little bit of a surplus in your family, kids always love going and helping out other kids. And it's a fun thing to do as a family.
Yeah, there's a couple of drop-off locations from businesses that are Chavos friendly. We have 3 Punk Ales you can drop stuff off to, and Cakes, our boy Miguel and his wife Steffi over there at their bakery business down in Chula Vista. Those are drop-off locations, and also Studio 54 Hair Salon as well. So if you have stuff and you're wondering where to take them, those are the places to take them.
Yeah, it's been wonderful to see everybody donating. The club donated a lot. I helped pick up some of that with Adrian today, so there was that going on. And then just generally, Barcata got in. Everybody's getting in here, so it's good to see everybody kind of jumping in and helping out and making sure that kids have a wonderful start to the year. And when you inspire kids a little bit and give them just one extra reason to be excited about school, who knows what you can inspire and what they can go to, right? So it is just that one of those snowballs you can throw down a hill that becomes an avalanche for somebody. Is just getting them a really fun backpack or getting the right set of pencils. You can inspire just a whole generation of people. So something to do. And again, we're looking for that until Friday of this week. I think Saturday there might also be some bonus locations, but again, just looking to do it here by this weekend. So if you're listening to this, make sure to check the socials pretty quickly and see how you can get involved if you're looking to get involved. The other thing to do rather quickly, if you're listening to this podcast, maybe turn around right now if you are interested, is purchase tickets because they will close on Wednesday. I heard from Jason, our director of events, who extended it a little bit to get us some more tickets. If anybody wants to come out to the Padres ball game, as Nick said, take us out, buy some peanuts, some Cracker Jacks, and tailgate with us before the game. Be able to pay $10 for a tailgate if maybe you already have tickets. Maybe you're a season ticket holder or you got them through a friend. It's one way of doing it. We also have an offer for a $25 ticket to the game. I was going to say match, the baseball match. You can come with us. We're all going to sit together in a section there. So it'd be a great way to cheer on the Padres. Maybe try and do some chants. We will see if we get thrown out. I don't know. But it will be a fun time at the ballpark. It is electric these days. If you haven't heard, the Padres are one of the better teams, if not one of the most exciting teams to watch in baseball. Never an uncontroversial 24 hours with this baseball team at the moment. So we are looking forward to that. That'll be the Tuesday night against the Cleveland Guardians. The August 23rd game at 6:40 p.m. We'll be tailgating from about 4 p.m. on in one of the lots, and we'll rally everybody to there who is there to show up and provide, again, a tailgate atmosphere for those of the who have opted in. Again, if you already have a ticket, we have a path for you. If you don't have a ticket or you just want to come to the game and maybe might not make it down till game time, we also have a path for you as well. So anybody who'd like to participate, you have till Wednesday, that is tomorrow, the 17th, to accomplish that task. Otherwise, maybe we'll just see you down there at the ballpark and we can all take a picture together, either at the park or somewhere like that. So
it's going to be a good time.
We will have a great time. man. It's going to be fun. People have talked about this for a while. There will be also that soccer night at the Padres. It is their designated soccer night. So maybe we'll
That
see some
sweet
soccer people.
soccer jersey giveaway.
Right, that sweet soccer jersey of a player who's not playing this year. But yeah,
Yeah,
you know,
but awkward,
it's not a
isn't it?
podcast about the Padres. So there's plenty of good outlets for that if you are looking for that. But yeah, we will be there. And again, it'll be a fun night to celebrate soccer, to celebrate the Padres and everything that's going on. And you know, maybe become a more concurrent event. This will be the first of hopefully many soccer nights with the Padres.
Lots of stuff happening. Lots of stuff happening.
Yeah, you're
Monterey.
You're going to the return
I'm
trip
going.
to Monterey here.
I'm going Monterey. Labor weekend. Me and the wife are driving up. It's going to be a good time.
Oh, yeah. It seems like there is still the ability to buy tickets for
Yes.
the Monterey match. If you'd like to do that, that's in our Discord. If you're somebody who's still, hey, I just got a seat in my friend's van and we're going to go backpacking to Monterey. Okay, you know, go to Santa Cruz. All right, bro. You know, jump in and still get those tickets in our Discord or reach out to Jason Ratcliffe, our director of events, and be able to secure your place there. And that goes for any of our great events, including the Padres event mentioned before. The other away match that we're also kind of putting on people's radar is going to be September 24th, and that's going to be the Las Vegas match. We do have some hotel information, staying at the Westgate Hotel, and we do have a ticket purchase agreement as well there. So if you're somebody who's interested in going to Vegas, that seems to be one of the highlight trips of the year for most fans, and we usually seem to get a few dozen, you know, or so people out there at least. You know, if you want to be one of the horde of people that are enjoying Vegas, who knows how much longer that might be a USL away day. Just saying, you know, get it in while you can. We'll see what happens with, you know, the MLS Next and everything that's coming on. So is a chance for you to engage.
Get to experience the water fights and the paddling pools and the
llamas,
the
the whole
Alvis.
scene.
Yeah.
And just generally the, you know, the city of Las Vegas and everything that it offers, you know, with some of your friends from the locals and everybody in 109. So definitely check that out. If that interests you, now is the time, I think, to really book that stuff. If you're looking for a cheap flight, maybe it's time to maybe, you know, hop one of the Southwest, you know, $50 flights, something like that. So a lot of different options, or caravan with somebody out. Gas is expensive. Carpool
Drive
up.
it out there.
There you go. So a lot of ways to get there, but let's talk about this weekend and going all the way across the at the 8 freeway, just kind of going all the way along the border.
Yeah.
The panhandle of Texas out there in El Paso,
Bit of a
almost New
drive.
Mexico, almost the Carlsbad Caverns. You know, you hit those and then go a little bit further,
And you're there.
One of our great border communities, a little bit like here between Juarez and El Paso, the El Paso Locomotive, one of the great names of the USL for sure, and fun branding. We'll be playing them this weekend at 6:30 p.m. That's pretty standard for that time zone. On all of the normal apparatuses and channels and satellite dishes that you dial into. Actually, just kidding. But they have been in decent form. It's going, or not decent form. Sorry, we've been in decent form. Looking at our form, I was like, yeah, we've been winning. Besides the loss we just had, they have had the opposite. It is like loss, draw. So El Paso is near the bottom, or kind of, you know, not sitting great. You know, in terms of playoff standings, they're almost about to fall out. It seems like. And that's one of the teams that's kind of looking at you know, Phoenix saying, don't come and get us, you know, trying to hold them off a little bit. This seems like kind of a blood in the water game a little bit, where, you know, if the Sharks going to get back on a shark course to the playoffs here, we got to kind of chomp this one. And, you know, regardless of what it means for the greater Western Conference table, take those 3 points and leave there. It is a baseball field setup. It is San Diego's AAA affiliate, the El Paso Chihuahuas, playing the same stadium as the El Paso Locomotive. So it's kind of a fun San Diego connection there, right? And a fun little stadium. But it'll be an interesting game. I don't know a ton about El Paso outside of that, Nick. Do you have any great insights about El Paso?
No, I've never been there.
I visited the city of El Paso.
Never been there.
I've been there. I can't tell you much about the USL team. I will tell you that they have been the AAA affiliate of most Southern California baseball teams for the better part of like 50 years.
They had Diego Luna, didn't they? And then Diego Luna moved to RSL. so we don't have to worry about him anymore.
There you
I
go.
believe we bet them earlier in the year, so let's go do it in their home now.
I think this is again a chance to really just assert our dominance atop the Western table and say we are a for real Western Conference contender. We are here to, this is a contender or pretender game, right?
Yeah.
If that backheeled article we referenced before is correct, we're not going to win this game, right? Oh, they figured us out. They figured out how to press us, and we're not going to be able to beat them. The thing is, Birmingham did a really good job of that while we were tired. I don't think we're going to get caught again.
No,
with,
I think
a little bit
I
of
think
rest
we
here.
turn around and win this one. I think
Correct. And with our full fire squad, I think putting the right players out on the field to begin, which is also something we didn't do to begin with in Birmingham. It almost felt like we put in an 80% strength squad a little bit. I think we get there a little bit stronger here. I'm predicting probably a 2-0, maybe 3-1 win.
hopefully we get Elijah Martin back from his arrow to the knee.
Right.
Congratulations to him for getting engaged recently.
It's pretty cool to see him doing that. I also say it would be pretty cool to see him back on the field, since the one thing that I think we both can agree on, not to call anybody out, the back line looked very shaky in Birmingham. He seems to be somebody who just not only can hold down his side of the field, but
Wins a
also
lot of
communicates.
duels.
And he communicates extremely well. He is just somebody who is always making sure the other players know where he is and where they need to be. And when he's not on the field, there seems to be miscommunication on that side of the field. So, or less communication, if we can say that. So that's where, again, yeah, I think that all of those factors given, if we're able to have everything full strength here, pretty easy road to victory. However, again, away game here, deep into the season. Can we continue this path to the playoffs that we've been on? Generally,
where are you going to go watch the game, Drew? Where are you watching the game?
You know what, actually, Nick? I'm going to go for the first time this year to a wave match. I have not been to a wave match. My niece would like to go to a wave match. And so we got tickets, and we're going to take her to a wave match this Saturday. So that'll be a fun time. They're against Houston, so playing another Texas team. I'll be checking on my phone, probably, pregame there, hanging out, and then throughout the match. But we have a couple of different chances to watch. If I wasn't going to the wave match, it is a hard chance to go to across from Second Chance, actually a little bit down the street here in North Park.
Fair Play.
There's Fair Play, which is the new experience being opened by the creators and owners of Bluefoot. What they're trying to pitch as kind of a new soccer place, a new place to watch different types of soccer. They've done a wave party there. I know they have big plans for the World Cup for that space. It's going to be central to where the World Cup watch parties have been in the past for the finals here in North Park. So definitely would be giving an eye to that if I was in the neighborhood, because I can walk there. So that would definitely be something to go.
That is where I will be. If people don't mind me yelling at the TV right next to them, I will be there.
There you
Come
go.
along, hang out with me. But there's a couple of other places you can go.
Yeah. And
we
so
got
it'll be a soft
O'Brien's.
opening for them, but O'Brien's will be open as always.
Our friends at
O'Brien's
O'Brien's.
watch party location for us, for the locals, and then Que Burros in National City as well has become the new hotspot, new default.
Awesome place
for match
awesome
day.
place.
If you are somewhere, maybe thinking, oh, they haven't announced watch party for this yet or that. You got a couple standbys now. You got O'Brien's, you got Que Burros. Both are going to be trying to show watch parties pretty consistently. The latter, very committed. They let us paint a wall there. I got to be a part of that experience. So obviously,
awesome
something
owner.
they're very committed to. And the owner, as Nick said, is just a guy who really gets it. And from not knowing who the team is when he moved here from Sonora to now being 100% on it within, I think, a few months, very cool to see that kind of commitment. That's how we build this community. So,
and the food is amazing. The burritos there, so good.
You can support them after game days. We have a fun hangover special we're working on with them, so you can go after game days to get stuff, and all throughout the week, just as a locals or a Chavos, member, somebody who can engage with them. So it'll be fun to see how that community grows. But several places there: Que Burros, O'Brien's, and Kearney Mesa, Kearney Mesa, and then Fair Play in North Park here on 30th. Will be your kind of go-to watch party destinations, unless you're taking in the local soccer on the women's side, as I will be Saturday night. So see you there at the Wave match if you find me in a big pink T-shirt that says San Diego Juez. Shout out Adrian again. So let's talk real quick. Every night that we do a podcast, we also do a lounge. We'll be coming back here in about 5-10 minutes to jump back on with you, answer all weird questions, talk about literally anything weird, and get into that stuff. So let's do that. And generally, Nick, any other things or thoughts you would like to throw out to our group here?
There was a question about Sac Republic locals on tour. Nothing official has been organized, I believe, by the locals, but that doesn't mean if you have a few of your friends that are wanting to go that you guys can't organize. Talk to the leadership about taking the banner up. You guys could take the banner up with you and get a few of your friends together and make something happen.
Yeah, and if you're still listening at this point in the podcast, that means you like this podcast. And hey, if you want to get involved in helping make this podcast, there's going to be a lot of opportunities coming up for you. Nick and I will talk a little bit more about that in the lounge. But generally, there's going to be a lot of space for you to get involved if you would like to. John Cross is our director here and just our general captain who does a great job holding down this podcast and making sure that it flows each week concurrently. Myself, I just try and make sure that we get the right people on who are mostly not me most of the time. And that'll be more happening as we move forward here. But it's always fun to talk to you, always fun to have you guys listen. But again, if you are interested, please reach out to myself at Drew Stork on most social media, as well as in our locals Discord. You can also hit up any member of leadership or our official locals accounts and say, hey, I want to get involved with that. And we will find a way to reach out and make sure that we get you involved. So please do not hesitate. And again, stick around for the lounge. Some fun stuff, personal stuff coming from me personally, if you're curious. But otherwise, Nick and I will be hanging out as always, at our various spots. Pizza Bros forever, and
Pizza
we love
Bros
you guys.
forever and always.
All right. Well, thank you so much. We will see you this next week at 8 p.m. on a Tuesday. That's when we're always here as the Loyal Locals podcast. We will be partially at the baseball game, so some of us will be there. Maybe we'll do a live lounge from the baseball game. We'll see.
Live feed would be a good one.
But otherwise, thank you for sticking with us here on a Tuesday night or wherever you're listening. And go Loyal.
Hang around.
See you then.
Let's go.
Love you.
Let's fucking go, San Diego.
Sweet as what?
San Diego forever, oh,